Hello students, my name is Parikshan and I will be your guide in discovering the ancient Greek philosophers. Actually, I'm not a philosopher and I have never studied philosophy. How did I become an expert? It's an odd story. While tidying my son Plato's room, I found at least 2 talents of ostraca under the bed. Then I understood what had happened to all those oil vases that had disappeared from the kitchen. I decided to give him an exemplary punishment. He would not see his chatty master Socrates for a month. Then I realized that they were notes on our most important ancient philosophers. I read them all, and I must say they were very interesting. I forgave him. Like all boys, Plato is very untidy, but he has many great ideas. The video we will watch is about Protagoras, who is credited with the philosophy of relativism. Protagoras was born in Abdera in Thrace in 486 BC, and he is considered the most important among sophists. He was famous for his aphorism, "Man is the measure of all things." At the age of 30, he started to travel all over Greece and stayed in Athens, where he became friends with Euripides and Pericles. Protagoras was the first to receive money for his lessons, and he became very rich this way. To be paid for teaching is normal, but at that time it created a great scandal. For this reason, sophists were often defined as the prostitutes of knowledge. He was accused of agnosticism and impiety and had to leave Athens in a hurry. He probably died in the Ionian Sea in 411 BC when his ship sank. In the 5th century BC, there were already many philosophers that had asked themselves what being was and had searched for the origins of the universe. Their answers, however, were different and contradictory. According to Protagoras, the problem had to be solved. Philosophy cannot give any answers without first having answered the crucial question: how can people reason and arrive at contradictory forms of truth? The more the truth is important, the more these contradictions seem unsustainable to the eyes of our reasoning. Who tells the truth? And which criteria do we use to recognize that it is he who tells the truth? According to Protagoras, it does not make sense to find the truth about the world without first finding the truth about truth. This is exactly what philosophers must do. The truth about truth is that it is relative. This does not mean that each truth is the same as any other, but that each truth depends on the relationships with the factors that make it true. Let's have an example. Let's try and imagine if rust is good or bad. It is good for the blacksmith who earns a living by fixing a hoe. It is bad for the farmer who uses a hoe. A medicine is good for a sick person, but it is poisonous for someone who is in good health. We thus have 2 contradictory forms of truth which are both true. But how do we choose our truth? The truth is the one which is useful for us. The essence of truth does not belong to things, but to man, who considers these on the basis of their utility. Man is the measure to assess where the truth of things lies. If, however, there are some factors that condition him, then man will not be able to measure what is useful for him. He risks using bad criteria. In this case, Protagoras says that the sophist must be a therapist of the soul. He must use refined and well-planned discourse to convince people that what is true is also useful for them. Hey look, where the hell are you going? Therefore, since the types of truth are many, Protagoras does not think there is any sense in following one in particular. In order to approach truth, we can only teach people to speak well. In this way, we can convince them of what is really useful and therefore true. That is how the first communication technique was born, the art of speaking, the art of rhetoric. But which are the most important forms of truth? Obviously, not those that concern personal taste or choices. The most important forms of truth are those which have consequences for the community, not just for us. These are political choices. Is there then the risk that those who can talk well may convince the others of the truth that is useful only for them? No, says Protagoras. He may only deceive a certain number of people, but not the majority. From truth to democracy. With democracy, we compare the various forms of truth, and we establish which one is the most useful. It is guaranteed for the very fact that it was chosen by the majority of people. Democracy and freedom of communication. According to sophists, without free communication, there will be no truth or human progress. Protagoras is the Bill Gates of ancient Greece. They both share the same business, achieving tools for effective communication. Since ancient Greek times, this business has been recognized as one of the most important. That is why those who have dealt with it have always been showered with money. Protagoras and Bill Gates have been the richest people in their world. Conscious of their worth, they have never disdained anything. Therefore, Protagoras is the founder of the three pillars that hold up our world: truth, communication, democracy. But are we really sure? But my dear guys, after looking at your world, many questions come to mind. It's your world, right? What type of usefulness does your technology have? And does it make sense? How is your public opinion formed? Why do you have more and more wars? And why do your wars involve more and more civilians? Have you made them more democratic?
It's hard to tell how mixed up you feel, hoping what you need is behind every door. Each time you get hurt, I don't want you to change, 'cause everyone has hopes, you're human after all. The feeling sometimes wishing you were someone else, feeling as though you never belong. This feeling is not sadness, this feeling is not joy. I truly understand. Please don't cry now. Please don't